release me from my winter hell. I've got candles and candy, I can be your daddy if you only let me creep into your prison cell. Hey baby, can you tell I'm not a criminal? Your treasure's seminal. I want you to stay true to what's right for you. No matter who or know what will others say, just find your way and try to stay true. Just speak low, stand in your row, try not to show this life's a show. Try not to glow way down below. Oh, it's a lot of woe, and that's not a place where you would like to go. I've got cigarettes and brandy, which could come in handy if you just help me loosen up my hand grenades fuse. Baby, don't refuse my truth, but it's up to you now to choose. I want you to stay true to what's right for you. No matter who or know what will others say, just find your way and try to stay true. I want you to stay true to what's right for you. No matter who or know what will others say, just find your way and try to stay true, 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 true.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Guess what day it is? Mike, 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 Mike. Hump day. Hi, everybody. Good morning. I hope you guys had a great half day off yesterday from this trial. My goodness. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Chicken Shite. Good morning, Ginny. Good morning, Fraud Busters. Good morning, Birdie. Good to see everybody. All right, so they've already started, okay? And oh wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Jenny. Thank you for the super chat. Donut money for Chicken Nuggy and Grammy. Thank you for all you do, Jen Lou. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hold on a minute. Something is not right for me. Hold on. Oh no, we're all right. Okay, I thought I heard something. All right, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's me doing it to myself. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. I guess I'm scraping the thing and it's like I have a hoodie on and it's hitting the headphones and it's making a noise and I can hear it and it's making me nuts. Okay. Anywho, sorry, let me focus. What I wanted to do this morning is before we get started, I wanted to go over the lawyer you know, because I was watching him yesterday, or this morning. He covered what happened last night or yesterday in the stream or in the trial. Like, I need to start all over again. Let me just go back to bed and start again because this is not going well. Okay, let me start again. This morning, I watched the lawyer you know because I wanted to hear what he had to say about yesterday's proceedings. And I'm only going to play a small portion of it, but I think it's like an important portion to play. Hold on a minute. Let me see what's going on over here. Seem to be buffering. Is it okay for you guys? I hope so. Weird. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm okay. All right. Anyway. Hold on. Let me just check. Now I'm weirded out. Good morning, Coffee and Skeletons. Good morning, Jonah's mom and Jonah. Good morning. All right. So anyway, this morning I was listening to it, and, you know, I was very hard on the defense team. And then I heard the lawyer, you know, say this, and it kind of put things in perspective. And I know they're going to be hashing it out this morning. So I wanted to play this for you guys so that maybe we could exercise a little patience with the defense team. All right, here we go.
And where the defense is coming from with these arguments. But when you look at the timeline, they don't add up. And you could have just let the state put in the whole thing, or you could have made your objections and figured out what the alternatives would be. They're doing it late, but they're still doing it. And even if you're late as a defense attorney, you still have to do the right thing for your client, which I think they are fighting as hard as they can for Kouri Richins. I think their presentation is not the best, but I think their fight is among the best of any defense attorney we've watched. Like, they are fighting. They're not letting anything go easy, which sometimes defense attorneys really struggle with that. Nobody likes to muck it up more than my dad. Nobody makes it more difficult on a prosecutor than my dad. Even in trials that we have lost together, they're like, oh, I do not want to try another case against him. It's brutal. Holds your feet to the fire on everything. And that's what good defense attorneys do. And again, they don't really care if people watching think that they're annoying or making it difficult on purpose, right? Because holding the state to their burden sometimes is difficult. Sometimes is annoying to the average viewer or the general public. But that's part of what we do. It really is. And if you're too afraid or you're too people pleasing to do that because you don't want to ruffle feathers, you don't want people to think that, you're being annoying on purpose, you don't want somebody to call you unethical or say you're just doing it to waste time, you don't care about that. You can't. You just can't care about that. You can't care about people being like, oh, they would represent a killer. They're just like their client. It's perfect for their client. They're so unethical because they represent criminals. Like, you just can't care about that. You just can't.
Okay, so I thought that would be important for us to watch because sometimes we forget it. It is annoying to the general public, us being the general public, because some of this stuff feels unnecessary, but it is important in the overall scheme of things. They have to make sure that she gets a fair trial. They're advocating for their client. And that is what their job is. That is what they're supposed to do. So don't get me wrong. Oh, for the love of Pete, the lawyer, I just wanted to take your speech to heart. And I do take it to heart. Okay. Because it is important. And then I see this business. And this business, the outfits of the day. Okay. Kouri looks like she's dressed in Motel 6's curtain catalog. And Miss Nestor is wearing Motel 6's couch cover. What the hell, you guys? Yes, we're going to definitely talk crap. And I'm definitely going to talk crap about the outfit of the day. When they're rude, they're rude. I'm going to call it out. So we're still going to talk mad cat shit. Don't y'all worry about that. But, my God. Okay, so we're going to get started now. We're behind. They're already hashing it out. So let's go.
are present. Counsel for defendant are present, as is defendant Kouri Richins. Let me just provide a summary of how we got from yesterday to today. At the close of proceedings yesterday, we had a plan to receive defendant's written response to state's motion to admit redacted exhibits 8-57R through 8-63R as prior consistent statements under Rule of Evidence 801 D1B. After everybody left the courthouse and upon reflection, the court did some additional research regarding the foundational requirements of 801 D1B, issued a ruling requesting additional foundation for admission of those redacted exhibits under that rule. That's docket 1700-1700. And shortly after that, had a WebEx conference on the record with counsel to discuss the court's concerns regarding the foundation requirements for that rule.
I forgot something that I wanted to talk to you guys about really quickly before we finish getting into it. Okay. So yesterday they were talking about the transcript and letting the jury have the transcript. And I think it was Chicken Shite that said it must be something because both the state and the defense are nervous. And the lawyer, addressed that. The reason why the state and the judge looked nervous is because if you send a jury back with a transcript, the concern would be that of just her, Carmen Lauber, yeah. If you send it back, if you just send a transcript of her interviews back and no other witnesses, the implication, the concern is that the jury may then spend hours going over and over and over and over her testimony and give it far more weight than they would another witness who obviously their transcript didn't go back. So yet while it's always up to the jury to give witness testimony and evidence its own weight, that's their job. They're the finder of the facts. The concern would be that they would be able to really hone in and focus too much on Carmen Lauber and not weigh all of the evidence equally, right? So that's oh my God. I'm so sorry, Crime Crochet and Coffee. I should just leave it how you have your name. Crime Crochet. That's awful. That's scary AF. I hope it gets resolved quickly. So I just wanted to talk about that really quick before we finish going into it. They worked well into the night. Clearly, they had a WebEx and everything. All right, let's keep going.
Following that, the state narrowed its request to seek, as I understand it, Mr. Bloodworth, publishing, not admission, of portions of only two of the proffered exhibits. That would be 5-58R and 8-62R under Rule 106. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. After that, counsel, to their credit, engaged in a productive email exchange regarding their positions, regarding those redactions. I think we need to discuss those one at a time now. Is that your view, Mr. Bloodworth?
It is, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. It would help me to just go through these one at a time and talk about what's happening here. So let's start with Exhibit 5-58R, which is the transcript of a May 2nd, 2023 interview of Carmen Lauber. And we begin as I understand it, and I'm going off the eight 58R. Did I misspeak?
Oh my gosh.
8-58R.
Jennifer, he is precious. Look at you, Jonah. Such a handsome boy. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for pointing that out. Adorbs.
Thank you for the clarification. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right email here. And I'm not. My apologies. I need to print the state's response. One moment.
Your Honor, it's probably the 8:05 p.m.
Yes, that's right.
So YouTubing says, hi, everyone. I have to admit, I lost respect for Laura, during the Sarah Boone trial. One thing is defending the act of presenting a defense. Another thing is excusing bad lawyering under that blanket. I will tell you that there were many times that I watched his assessment of that trial, in particular, Mr. Owens' job as an attorney. And I disagreed with his take on it. I did. I know that, look, Owens was going to have an uphill battle, period. First of all, it's Sarah Boone. I mean, we're all familiar with her brand, right? That was going to be just, even if he had started from day one, it would have been difficult because it's Sarah Boone. And her, she's a difficult person, period. It just is what it is. And I understand. And I do think that there were times when he excused things that I don't think he should have excused. But I mean, he's human, and we all make mistakes. And, when people like, even me, I mean, you guys I want you to know, if you don't know all this already, but you're always free to disagree with me. I'm one person. I'm not omnipotent. I don't know all. I don't see all. So, and I sometimes, many times actually, have changed my viewpoint based on things that you guys have brought up, because we're all unique individuals who bring our own perspectives to things, which I think that's why I find true crime fascinating. Talking about it, because we are all seeing the same evidence. We're all hearing the exact same thing, but we're all interpreting it, processing it, and perceiving it differently. And I find that fascinating. And that's why I like to have, that's why I like to watch these trials, because it's interesting the weight that people give different evidence, and we don't all give the same evidence the same weight. We don't all perceive the evidence the same way. And I think that's, and I'm glad that we have the type of chat where you can disagree and it's not going to devolve into, juvenile antics, because I don't have any patience for that.
So, forgive me, Mr. Bloodworth, in response to the state's highlights in and around page 75, lines 1921, the defendant states, quote, "This completely resolves this proffered section, leaving nothing for the court to decide." But then the state, I think, sees it a little differently. Help me understand here.
Yes, Your Honor. The highlighted, I think for the purpose of this discussion, the highlights are immaterial. The highlights related to the 801 discussion.
Okay.
So in the 805 email last night, the state set forth its view by page and line number of the 106 argument.
Okay, so the state's position is that page 65, line 4, through page 87, line 13, from this, should be published under Rule 106.
That's correct. And that section of that statement, that section of the transcript applies to both the first and second paragraphs. It encompasses both of the statements both of defense's statements that are outlined in paragraphs 1 and 2 of the 805 email.
Understood. And so to the extent when we look at 8-58R, to the extent that between...
You're very, very welcome. Welcome all the new members. Listen, I can't really take full credit for this. YouTube gives us creators 10 memberships to give away, and I like to do that because why not? You know? So, yay, I'm glad you got it, YouTubing. All right, here we go.
Page 65, line 4, and page 87, line 13. There are some sections that are not currently highlighted. Is the state's position that those are included in the state's request?
Yes, Your Honor. I think for purpose of this discussion, we can ignore highlighting.
Okay.
You're welcome, Jenny. You're welcome. Welcome to the ward, you guys. I'm so glad you guys got
Let me
it.
pause there. Ms. Lewis, take a moment. Take the time you need.
Yeah, Miss Lewis. Take a moment. We already heard her in the background saying she misunderstood. Okay, Miss Nestor, I understand there's no I in team, blah, 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 blah. But perhaps for these negotiations, why don't you do the speaking? And I know I can't even believe I'm saying that, but between the two of them, I feel like Miss Nestor might be better. Oh, I think Mr. Bloodworth always looks sharp. Because every girl's crazy about a sharp dressed man. Ow, ow. I was watching a little bit of this before we started, and somebody in the court TV chat said that that Kouri looks like a tequila bottle
right now. So.
Well, I think if it helps speed things along, as I understand it, the defendant didn't have any trouble with the highlighted portions. It's now the unhighlighted portions between 65 and 87 that we need to make sure you get an opportunity to respond to.
Actually, Your Honor, we had agreed to letting in all of the highlighted portion on page 75 and 76.
No. Creme Crochet, where? Now, you know I'll be loving me some John Grucy. Now, I ain't finna fight you over him because I like him. But everybody knows that Jared Leto, Jordan Catalano is my husband, as well as Evan Peters. That is all.
Because that would be what was related to the statement that I elicited on cross. So that's what
gosh.
we had agreed to, which is what we believed the state wanted, because like I said, it wasn't until Mr. Bloodworth just said we were now ignoring highlights. So we agreed to page 75, line 8, starting at line 8, through page 76, ending at line 5, under the rule of completeness, because that completed the discussion around the elicited statement, which is give us the details that will ensure Kouri gets convicted of murder. I think going all the way back and adding in everything does not have to do with that statement. It's a lot of discussion. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with O'Driscoll's statement that was elicited through Carmen. It's talking about, I'm trying to look at the unhighlighted parts now. I mean, it is talking about that it's about she doesn't know the situation between Eric and Kouri, which wouldn't have anything to do with that. It's about when we're going to meet again. She says, I need to go through whatever I need to go through to figure out. I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with that statement by Detective O'Driscoll. I mean, I agree the stuff right before that and immediately after that that completes that line.
She really does talk it
question
like,
and answer.
I mean, obviously, physical beauty is, subjective, but frankly, I think she looks better after her arrest, which is weird because it's usually the other way around. She's flourishing in jail. Let's keep her there.
Should come in. But, for example, on page 67, Detective Maynard says, I'm just saying we're going to need you to settle down and get details and timelines. I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with the statement. And it's also hearsay by Detective Maynard. I mean, I suppose if Mr. Bloodworth wants to question Detective O'Driscoll about some of these other statements, that would be appropriate, but I disagree that all of this comes in under the rule of completeness.
I think we need to be a little bit careful here. It's not Detective O'Driscoll's statements that are subject to the rule of completeness. It is Ms. Lauber's statements that are potentially subject to the rule of completeness. And as I understood the state's position, it was the context provided by Detective O'Driscoll's statement on page 75 combined with Ms. Lauber's response on page 82. And that was, as I understood from back when Carmen Lauber testified in open court, what the state believed they needed to correct the arc of. Is that fairly stated, Mr. Bloodworth?
It is, Your Honor, and I can provide additional detail to the extent we need it.
If you would just make a record for why the state believes page 65, line 4 through page 87, line 13 is required to explain, qualify, or provide context for Ms. Lauber's testimony, I'd appreciate it.
Your Honor, the necessary context is that Carmen Lauber was agitated about her involvement in Eric Richins' death, and that detectives were trying to settle her down and focus her in on the details. The court can see the word details in this portion of the transcript appears a dozen or so times as Carmen Lauber is scattered. They're trying to just get her focused in on the details, and in the details, and explaining to her, right, because the broader context here is they're talking about her immunity, and they're explaining to her that details are necessary so that they can corroborate them, and that corroboration of those details is necessary for immunity. That is the context of the statement.
Ms. Lewis, go from there, please.
Sorry, just a moment.
I mean, I understand the state's need to.
Your Honor, if the state could add.
Okay. A lot of this has to do with, as Hockett, the state feels the need to rehabilitate Carmen Lauber's testimony. There were several issues raised under cross-examination, one of which is that Carmen Lauber essentially testified in open court very much differently than in her previous statements with police. Okay. Not only that, but Carmen herself wasn't even sure of these details surrounding what she bought, when she bought it, and who she bought it from, and who she bought it for. Because they singled out this one specific part of an interview where she said, can you just write it for me? And the way the defense wanted that interpreted is that the cops were going to come up with the story, and Carmen would just sign it. The problem is with all of this, and I think this is why the state finds it necessary to put some of this stuff in, is that Carmen wasn't just being charged at the state level. She was being charged at the federal level. And in order for the feds to not charge her, they required some very specific things. What they required was details that they could corroborate. So that is why it took multiple interviews and multiple times of talking to her. I don't think, based on what I've seen so far, that could change. It's always subject to change. Based on what I've seen so far, I don't think that the cops put the story in her mouth, meaning I don't think this is tantamount to like a false confession, a false narrative. Okay. I think Carmen knows what happened. What I think the problem is that she's not really good with dates. It's not like she was checking her phone or whatever and saying, oh yeah, this happened and she was using pills. So that's really what the issue is. And basically the defense is like, look, we're either going to put in all of the transcripts of Carmen's, and the transcript comes with the video. So we're either going to put all 7.5 some odd hours of, we're going to play it all for the jury, or we're going to play nothing for the jury. And the judge is trying to get some sort of compromise because it's too damn much.
That is the narrowly tailored context of the statement. The state, water under the bridge, but the state has argued the entire series of interviews provides that context as well.
That's been preserved.
It has. I appreciate that.
And John Grusing, hold on a second. John Grusing Coffey is the FBI agent who worked on the Gannon Stauch case. He's the one who pleaded with Letitia to let them know where he was. Remember, she was arrested before they found Gannon's body. And all she did was talk in circles and just basically be Letitia. You're very welcome, S. Hockett. Good to see you too, by the way. Yeah, this is Carmen Lauber and Detective O'Driscoll were issues during the preliminary hearing. They were there. This is an ongoing issue. And, the defense's argument is we're putting some of this stuff in that she said, and we didn't have the ability to cross-examine her. Well, that's not true, because at the
I understand what they're saying. I don't disagree that all of that is necessary under the rule of completeness. So I would just stand by our objection.
They did have an opportunity to cross-examine her on prior inconsistent statements. I mean, she walked up to the witness stand with like 8 binders. I think it was really like 4, but they were like the big binders, you know, the binders that the serious students carried.
Really what should come in is the complete statement on page 75 and 76. I will say, in looking at this though, I was already, when we were looking at it previously, just the highlighted, I really didn't have a problem with through line on page 82 through line 17 on page 82, because I actually do think some of that came in during cross. I'm not, probably like to take out the stuff between, well, no, that's okay, never mind. So I really don't have a problem with line 8, starting with line 8 on 75, through line 17. Although, you know, I'm sorry, Your Honor, this skips. I mean, we go from 76 to 82, so...
No, the state's request, and I can appreciate why you just need a moment to walk through it. But sitting here this morning, the state's request under Rule 106 is to publish, among other portions, page 65, line 4 through page 87, line 13
All right,
of this.
So you also want, which you didn't include, 77 through... That's where you've lost me.
So there's a gap in what we're looking at, pages 77 through 82.
Is there?
Yes. What they've provided that they wanted jumped from page 76 to 82.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Bloodworth. I'm reading your email of 8:05 p.m. 65, line 4 through 87, 13 inclusive?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. I think that the disconnect here is the pages we're looking at. or
Jump.
She's looking at jump, yes.
Oh, okay.
So now you want the pages you don't have here also.
I did not appreciate that. I've got to see the other pages.
So do I.
Yeah, my
Well,
apologies.
I think,
I'm redacted.
here's what we'll do. Page 65, line 4, through page 87, line 13.
87? 13?
Minus pages 77 through 81.
Gotta look at
Okay. So now we're back to
We're
the
back.
proposed
This will take us here
5-58R.
just in a more efficient way.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so Ms. Lewis, my apologies. Now I think we're all on the same page regarding the paper version of 5. I keep doing that. 8-58R that we're looking at. Thank you for raising that. So just so the record is clear, we're currently contemplating page 65, line 4 through...
I mean, you can say it 5 more times, Your Honor, and I appreciate the fact that you're exceedingly patient with this attorney. But while you're telling her all this, she's still going through the pages that they said we'll leave out.
7625, and then 82-1 through 87-13.
I would agree with 76 starting at line 8 through the bottom. I'm sorry, 75 starting at line 8 through the bottom of 76. And I'm all right with page 82 through line 17, but we would object to the rest.
Okay, bear with me.
Nah, Jonah's mom, nothing earth-shattering happened. Hi, Karen, good to see you, babe. Welcome in. Yes, coffee and
All right,
skeletons.
so-
I do think it was a long night for the defense.
The court is persuaded that the statements of Carmen Lauber elicited on cross-examination, as indicated on proposed exhibit 8-58R on pages 75, line 19 through 22, 82, lines 8 through 11, and page 86, lines 17 through 19, require, under Rule of 106, context, qualification, and explanation in the form of additional portions of 8-58R. And those additional portions are page 65, line 4, through page 76, line 25, and page 82, line 1, through page 87, 13. Any clarification, Mr. Bloodworth?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Lewis?
No.
All right.
No.
So I think that handles bulleted or numbered paragraphs 1 and 2 in the email exchange between counsel, correct, Mr. Bloodworth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That brings us to numbered paragraph number 3. Bear with me.
Jenny says, I find it difficult to be sympathetic to the defense team at this point. I mean,
So here,
I agree.
to
Here's-
provide additional
this is the
context,
thing.
qualification, and explanation,
This is the thing. I personally feel that the defense has referred to Carmen Lauber as, quote unquote, the state star witness. Now, she is the only human witness that can connect Kouri to the fentanyl, right? But there's also texts. So I would not, and texts don't lie. I would not put her as the star witness. I mean, she's got memory problems. She's trying to get her life together. It is what it is. Okay. And she's got a deal. So, I don't think she's as strong of a witness as Louis Rivera. He was a much stronger witness. And I think that I think her testimony was always going to be an issue for the defense. I think that the state has to do what they have to do to try and rehabilitate her testimony. And certainly, you know, the defense, they don't have to. It's not burden shifting. They're not required to do it. But if they want to, they can. She's still under subpoena. They can call her.
for Ms. Lauber's statement that I get that related to the get out of jail free card, Mr. Bloodworth. I understand the state is requesting publishing 114 line 6 through 115 line 6. Is that right?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Lewis, go ahead.
Your Honor, I think the discussion about what Ms. Richins is doing, about the children and the relationship with their father, all of that doesn't add any context to what Detective Maynard's statement is. I mean, I guess I'm not opposed to going through line 12 where she says, oh, I get that. But the rest of it it's also quite prejudicial.
Why is it prejudicial? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's prejudicial. I don't have any discretion here if it's required for.
I understand. But
So.
I mean, the fact that he says you're on what your get out of jail free card looks like based on the information that, and then he says there's 3 little boys that don't have a dad, there's a family that doesn't have a brother. I mean, what does her response about the boys and Eric have anything to do with the fact that she now has a get out of jail free card if she gives them her information?
I understand the state's position to be this shows what her motivation, the complete version of her motivation.
Yes, that's how I take it as well. It's not just that she's got a get out of jail free card, but also she's testifying because at the end of the day, if you believe the state's version of events, which I happen to believe, she is the middleman between the fentanyl, Eric, and the death. That's it. That's all. She yes, she didn't manufacture the fentanyl, but she was Kouri's avenue by which the fentanyl was purchased. And then subsequently Eric died about it. So I see the state's point. I'm not,
Rather than just a motivation to serve her own interests. Is that about right, Mr. Boyer?
That is, Your Honor. And Detective Maynard couples the two in his statement. It's get out of jail free card looks like, based on the information, that there's 3 little boys that don't have a dad.
Okay. He probably did actually say that. I mean, it's a quote. But, and I understand your reservations, chicken shite. Okay. But I want you to ponder what I'm about to say. Okay. We've seen many interrogation videos, many. And we've seen the things that detectives say when they're interviewing anybody, really, whether that be a suspect or a potential witness. Okay. I think under these circumstances, I think the detective had to consider to whom he was speaking. He had to consider his audience. And I think he spoke to Carmen in a way that she would understand. Because it's just like there were a few times during like Stephen Stern's interrogation video where, the cop said, there were things that Stephen Stern said that the cops didn't react to, which we were like, how can they just sit there and be like, whatever. And things that Jennifer Soto said that they were like, they didn't address or confront her on or whatever. They have to tailor what it is that they're saying to whom they're speaking, their audience. Sometimes that means biting your tongue, and sometimes that means saying things that don't come across after the fact. The optics are not good for the detective.
He's coupled them.
I'm sorry, can you finish?
Yeah.
I don't know why just going through line 12 where Ms. Lauber says, oh, I get that. Why doesn't that complete that she gets that that's why it is because of this reason? Why do we have to go into the rest of the relationship with Eric and the kids and that Kouri's living her life while everybody else is suffering? I don't understand how that completes anything more than just ending with Ms. Lauber's statement at line 12, that she understands that's why it is, because of the circumstances.
Mr. Ludwig, go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, it completes Carmen Lauber's expression of her motivation to cooperate.
Okay. Having considered the arguments of counsel and looked at Carmen Lauber's statement on page 114, line 12, the court is persuaded that under
Coffee,
Rule
they're not.
106,
Coffee, they're not having this conversation in front of the jury at all. The jury won't even be in until 1 o'clock local time. So that's 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. No, this is no jury, babe. No. The jury won't be in for several hours at this point, hopefully.
publishing of page 114, line 6 through page 115, line 6 is necessary to explain, qualify, and provide context for her response.
Hold on, I totally missed that. Let me rewind it.
Page 112. Having considered the arguments of counsel and looked at Carmen Lauber's statement on page 114, line 12, the court is persuaded that under Rule 106, publishing of page 114, line 6 through page 115, line 6 is necessary to explain, qualify, and provide context for her response.
All right, it's coming in. Yeah, Coffee, that would be crazy if they were, right? Like the jury is like, what?
All right.
Nope, the jury's probably
That brings
home
us
enjoying
to
breakfast or something, a long leisurely
pages 182
cup of coffee.
and 183, correct, counsel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, the statement that the state seeks to provide additional context, explanation, and qualification for is Ms. Lauber's statement on page 183, line 5. Can you guys just write it and I sign it? Correct, Mr. Bloodworth?
Correct, Your Honor.
And the state's position is that under Rule 106, we're required to go back to 182, line 12, and include through 183, line 14. Do I have your position correctly?
You do, Your Honor, and that necessary context is that the detectives needed Carmen Lauber to put her verbal statements on paper and that detectives were not able to do it for her.
Okay, now I will agree with Mr. Bloodworth. This definitely needs to come in because the jury does need to understand the full context of why Carmen Lauber said that. She wasn't asking, it's not like she didn't know the story, okay? She just didn't want to physically write the story. That's it, that's all. Whereas the defense is making it, is the implication is that she had no idea about anything, and that whatever the cops would, if the cops would just write down what they wanted the story to be, right, she would just sign it. And that's not what happened. And I do think that that is not something that they could have elicited on a redirect. I think through Carmen Lauber's own testimony, I think they need to hear it. The jury needs to hear it.
Actually, I'm fine with that.
OMG. Look who it is. MK Lynn. Good to see you, bud. MK, just while you're here, I want you to pay particularly close attention over there at the defense table to the outfit of the day by Miss Nestor and Miss Richins. They are seated next to each other. Check it out. Let me push play.
On what we said in our response.
Okay. Very good. The
Those
court
are
is.
the lines.
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off, Ms. Lewis. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying in terms of the lines we agreed to, I think that's just typed incorrectly. That's not a problem.
Okay. Under Rule 106, the state is permitted to publish page 182, line 12 through 183, line 14 from 8-58R.
Hey, Violet, good to see you. Justified, good to see you too. Welcome in. AKA Grandma C, a couch
Anything
and a
else for
throw pillow.
8-58R, Mr. Bloodworth?
No, Your Honor.
Bruh.
Okay,
Bad
Ms.
news
Lewis.
bears over there.
all right. That brings us to 8-62R, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. We go to page 12. Here, in response to a question from Detective Maynard, the goal is to convict Kouri for an aggravated murder. These parallel drugs investigations, those aren't a priority. Ms. Lauber says, right. And the state asserts that completeness requires that we also publish page 11, line 20, through page 13, line 22. Correct?
Correct, Your Honor. And the necessary context.
MK says, dressed like the American Gothic painting, LOL. I guess court wouldn't allow the pitchfork. See, my assessment was they both look like they're dressed from the Motel 6 line of room decor. Kouri's, she's in the, like, I feel like that's how a Motel 6 room would be decorated in like Arizona, right? While I think Miss Nestor is wearing the couch cover from the Motel 6 line. I mean, and I'm not saying that it's the couch cover. It's not about her weight. It's about that fucking pattern. That looks like a damn couch cover. I just want to be clear about that. I ain't body shaming that lady. Listen, I put on some, I stored some nuts this winter, okay? I have some trouble around the belly. I ain't finna judge nobody.
There is that Carmen Lauber is spooked by the federal grand jury investigation, and Detective Maynard is assuring her that that federal grand jury investigation is secondary to the murder investigation.
Hey, RJ, good to see you. You definitely joined at the right time. We're going around through the outfit of the day. Yes, on Route 66. Yes. Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Your Honor, I really think that if we start at page 11, line 20, and go through 12.
I'm done with you, Caitlin. Yes, with the 25-cent bed shaker. Oh my God.
Line 20, that it states enough to cover all of that without getting into the grand jury, which is a whole other can of worms.
Why can't we go to 13, line 7? It gets a little confusing after that, I'll grant you, but 13, line 7, I think, is an important closure on that issue of the potential for federal charges.
I'd like to take out the reference to the grand jury. What if we...
Help me understand, what is it you think is a problem with the grand jury? This is what they're talking about, is federal charges.
Well, they are, but it's clear in here that she's saying federal charges are the next, that's more up the chain serious, like the highest extreme. So it's already in here that they're already saying that federal charges are more serious, and he's telling her not to worry about that without getting into the grand jury, which causes me concerns.
Yeah. What's the
I
concern?
mean, that's something we've avoided talking about. It speculates that it's going to allow the jury to speculate about what that means if there's other charges. I think most people don't know what a grand jury is. They may think there's another jury that's made.
Back the milk truck up. This is why I be getting irritated AF with you, Miss Lewis. Most people do know what a grand jury means. If you took a freaking high school civics class, then you know what a grand jury is and what a grand jury indictment means. It just means that you've been indicted on these charges. They found enough probable cause that these are the charges that you're going to get. You're not convicted of anything. Most people do know that. And if they don't, and if you put people like that on the jury, then whose fault is that? I don't appreciate you thinking that ordinary citizens that sit on a jury are incapable of understanding the difference between what is going on currently in the courtroom that they are going to then make a determination of guilty or not guilty, and that they can't figure out the difference between that and a grand jury. She's basically, this is like the 8th time that she's called the jury dumb.
Some kind of finding. I mean, we maybe could go through line 7 if we just take out, we could even just take out on 13, starting at line 2, just take out that's where it's formalizing it with the grand jury.
Let's talk about mechanics for a second, Mr. Bloodworth. I understand, or I appreciate that these are many fewer pages of transcript than was under contemplation yesterday.
I need a moment. I need a moment. Where is my video? This is for you, Miss Lewis. Tired of your ass calling the jury dumb. Where's it at? Let me find it. Here it is.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
All right, I feel better. Let's keep going.
Are we just going to show the transcript to the jury at this point, or have we cut the video down?
Your Honor, we've set the conditions where we can cut the video down. There's still a little bit of editing time, but not much.
Sure.
The state intends to publish by, as we've published other similar exhibits, playing the video with the transcript rolling beneath it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Okay. Mr. Bloodworth, talk to me. Why in the state's view?
Billy Madison is my favorite. That is all. I actually like Billy Madison more than I like Happy Gilmore. Billy Madison spoke to me on a level that Happy just didn't. Back to school to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool. I got my backpack on, my boots tight. I hope I don't get into a fight.
Do we need to go beyond
Send help.
line 7 on page 13?
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm actually okay if we go through line 10.
Okay. Line 10
That
on page
completes the
13.
thought.
Shampoo is better. No, conditioner is better. Oh my God, I need help.
That's agreeable, Your Honor.
Yay, that's amazing news, Jen. Hold on. Jonah's mom, hold on. Let me fix
So,
this. Congratulations. I'm so glad. I'm so happy that you don't have to come back for 2 weeks and that you're getting healed. Yay, yay, yay. All fantastic news. Yay.
first, the court is persuaded that with respect to state's proposed exhibit 8-62R, publishing page 11, line 20 through page 13 line 10 is necessary under Rule 106 to provide additional context for Ms. Lauber's response to Detective Maynard's question as depicted on page 12, lines 2 through 6. The court is not persuaded that a stray reference to Carmen Lauber appearing before a grand jury will mislead or confuse the jury in any way about any consequences or any investigation regarding Kouri Richins.
Correct. Ruling. I agree,
The defendant's
Judge.
request for redaction of that sentence is respectfully denied.
Yep.
Anything further on that, Mr. Bloodworth?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Scott, do you need any of those numbers again?
No, Your Honor, I was following along and I have them down, and I can, provide a copy of the video as soon as I have them ready to defend, to have the process you like.
Perfect. I like that plan.
Let me just
Let me
say
just write
this.
this one down.
Let me just say, I don't give a rat's at
Mr.
kneecap what goes on in this courtroom from this moment forth. All right. But because let me just tell you, the recipient, once again, of the Ward fruit basket is going to be Scott in the back there. Because that man, he just shows the things, highlights things, makes and zooms in on things. I can't stand when they say blow up. I don't know why it bothers me, but enlarges, zooms in, whatever. But I don't like blowed up. Just doesn't sound right. As I say, it just don't sound right. Jeez, Jen. All right, here we go.
Bloodworth, that means the remainder of state's motion to admit redacted exhibits 8-57R through 8-63R is moot at the current time. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Counsel, last evening I sent out notice of the court's decision denying defendant's motion for mistrial. I'll issue a written ruling providing the court's analysis in the due course, but I needed to make sure that you had notice of that decision. I also gave notice of the court's designing a remedy under Rule 16 of requiring the state to recall Ms. Lauber in its case in chief to make sure that defendant has an opportunity to cross-examine Ms. Lauber about the alleged violation of her drug court probation in November 2023.
Oh, it's about to get even spicier.
I know only 12 hours have transpired since that time, Mr. Bloodworth, but what is the state's expectation?
Your Honor, she will be here at 1 o'clock.
All right. Are we starting with her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Lewis, anything further on that?
Look here, Miss Lewis, I'm just going to give you some free advice, okay? And although you're probably not going to ever be on the list of fruit basket recipient from the ward, I'll just say this. You get another bite at the apple. May I suggest you take the time to get your poop in a group, harness your chi, meditate like a Buddhist, go listen. Let me tell you something. Go listen to NWA Express Yourself. Just listen to Dre's part, okay? Learn from him. Get it right, get it tight. Let's get this cross-examination so it's not all over the place. For the love of Pete, we do not need for you to start out at point A and then try to connect the dot at point A to the dot at point 13, okay? Let's try to keep the numbers connected and the letters connected, but separate from each other. Can you do that for us? That is all.
I imagine that nobody will be discussing with her what she's coming back to testify regarding between.
Well, I told her she was still subject to the subpoena, that she was not released.
She's not in custody, Miss Lewis. The judge told her, he instructed her, he said she was still under the subpoena. He said she couldn't talk to anybody, nobody, everybody, all the things. He said she had to be shushed about this trial, about her testimony, all the things. What else do you want? God.
Sure, all officers of the court will abide by the rules there. You'd be within your rights to ask her if she's talked to anybody in the meantime.
Wolfie, what
I
up?
imagine the state will have some limited redirect of her upon putting her on the stand.
Yes, Your Honor. Maybe we can clarify just scope
Sure.
of cross. I think the record's clear in the state's papers that defense has already had an opportunity to examine her on this issue. I appreciate the prophylactic nature of
Oh
the
my
court's-
God. I can't take the prophylactic nature. He says it too much and it makes me laugh every time. Also, the beginning lyrics of that NWA song are like running through my head. And if it doesn't come out, I'm not going to do it on the mic because that's too much for you guys, but that's what I'm doing over here. I'm expressing myself with my full capabilities. Now I'm living in correctional facilities. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. I had to get it out. It was going to bother me. I had to say it audibly. Here we go.
ruling.
Right.
I'm happy to protect the record. But as I understand it, the scope of defense's cross-examination of Ms. Lauber today is limited to impeachment based on the materials surrounding her supervision.
Yeah, even I think more specifically, the material received by the defense pursuant to the subpoena that allegedly revealed this potential violation of her drug court probation in November of 2023. That's the new information.
Okay, and as I
Hey,
understand
yes, good
that
to see
new
you, babe. Hold on.
information
Let me
is-
not scream over be all yelly at 10:58 a.m. Texas time. Good morning, HCS News. Good morning, Wolfie. Who else has just joined us? Good morning, another Amy. Good to see y'all. All right, here we go. I'm going to be serious for now. For now, not from now on, just for now.
an unsigned affidavit, although substantively that affidavit is no different than the information provided pre-trial.
Yeah, that was a little unclear from the papers as to whether the subpoena response gave more detail than what was provided pre-trial. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear. This will come out in the court's oral ruling.
Sure.
The
You're-
court is not making any finding that the Summit County Attorney's Office intentionally withheld any information, but the knowledge of Detective Maynard is imputed. So we are where we are.
Yeah, and I appreciate all that. I think the only information in the subpoena return that was new was a printout of a link to a drug test result, the link which has long expired. So
Was
Hey,
the unsigned
Shelley
declaration
Beans.
provided prior
Good to see you, babe.
to trial?
Your Honor, it was not, but all the substance
I see.
in that unsigned declaration was provided prior to
Okay.
trial.
Well, to prevent any
Sure.
infirmity on appeal, my view is that the scope of this recross that the court is providing the defense an opportunity to do are the facts and circumstances related to any potential violation of Ms. Lauber's drug court terms and conditions in November of 2023.
Understand.
Ms. Lewis.
Just some clarification. Well, first, the only information we
Oh
had before
my
was that she
God.
apparently had drank alcohol.
Hold on a minute. Why do you need clarification? I have a freaking good enough diploma, ma'am, and I understood what he said. What do you need clarification on? Your Honor, get the crayons. Get the crayons. Miss Lewis needs clarification. Again. Let's rewind it. Let's hear this lunacy.
Well, first, the only information we had before was that she apparently had drank alcohol. The information about the circumstances surrounding that is new. But the other thing, so included in what the state sent us was the letter that Carmen Lauber sent to Judge Mabee, which I did have before, but I didn't question her about it. But now I would like to point out that what she says in that letter is not accurate.
What's the date of the letter?
February 15th of 2024, where she says that she's been in 100% full compliance. Well, now we know that she's not been in 100% full compliance. So
I don't know if we know that. We know that she was observed holding an alcoholic drink. We don't know if she ever consumed it. And so, I mean, I suppose if you want to ask her if she violated her condition of not possessing or purchasing alcohol, you can ask her that. But
Your Honor, I'm not sure that's.
now it says she was consuming it here.
well, that's an unsigned affidavit. We got to be careful. That's not evidence of anything. It's just words on a piece of paper. You can ask her about it, but we can't admit that. Go ahead, Mr. Bloodworth.
Your Honor, the letter to Judge Mabee, I believe, has been in discovery for years.
No, and Ms. Lewis is not suggesting otherwise. It's just she's not suggesting now she has, in her view, evidence that the statements made by Ms. Lauber in the letter are not true. And so she now has a reason to ask her about that.
Understand.
And then we were provided also this, I guess it's a screenshot of text between Ms. Lauber and Detective Maynard that we just got also for the first time that I didn't have. So I would like to ask her again about her communications and her supervision.
As long as you're within the dates of those text messages. Unless they had those as well. I don't know.
Your Honor, they don't, but she testified to exactly what the text messages show, so I don't know if there's any impeachment there.
And is that true?
She testified that, off of my memory,
Yeah.
she testified that her check-ins with Detective Maynard amounted to one of them texting Lauber, the other responding with Maynard, which is precisely what the text
That is what she testified to. That is how I recall it as well.
show. So in fact, I think the text messages are 100% entirely consistent with Carmen Lauber's testimony.
Ms. Lewis, let me look at the text with you for a moment. My apologies.
That's fine. I would need to look at that portion of the testimony again.
Oh, for fuck's
Maybe my
sake.
recollection is
Your recollection is terrible. This is ridiculous. Miss Lewis, wouldn't it have behooved you to watch court TV? Hell, watch the ward. Maybe you would have picked up some tips on how not to talk to a judge, lady. Anywho, you could have watched any number of channels. And guess what else you could have done? Let me give you another little tip and trick. You could have searched this transcript and you could have hit the Control F and search for the exact phrase that you're looking for. Oh my God. And then you would know. Now you have to sit here and look through something again. Now you got to go back and look at testimony again. What's going on over there at the rest of the defense table? Aren't y'all on the same team? Help her out, man. That is exactly what she testified to.
incorrect, but I know she also testified about a lot of communications with Detective Maynard. I mean, I think it would be appropriate to ask her.
She did not.
These communications.
She did not testify. What you tried to get out of her was that you were shocked that that's all those texts exchanges consisted of. And what you really tried to point out to the jury was that how long had it been since he'd required her to have a UA?
Were in text because the texts don't include that. And I don't know why we have just a screenshot of a week of text. I mean, this is incomplete.
Well, but Ms. Lauber's not going to know why that's what you received from the subpoena response. You can ask Detective Maynard about that if you want to call him.
About why we only have these dates. Is that what you're talking about?
Right.
Oh my God. Do try and keep up, lady. What the F? How is it that I'm more aware of your case than you are? This is so frustrating. This is going to be an outbursty kind of day. I can feel it.
Ms. Lauber won't know why Detective Maynard or the Summit County Sheriff's Office did or didn't
right.
produce
I wasn't
additional
gonna-
records.
I wasn't going to ask her that. I was talking about if this is a fair representation of all of her texts. I mean, I was...
All of her texts for Saturday, February 14 through Monday, February 16.
Well, I think I could ask her if this was a representation of her text throughout her supervision, if this is what they did.
There's no...
Okay, there's a reason he read those dates. And I'm thinking that the reason he read those dates is because those are the dates that she requested. Now, ma'am, if you don't know how to properly work a FOIA, I don't know what to tell you. But they're not going to give you, oh, hey, by the way, we think you could use these too. Here. No, ma'am, Pam. No, ma'am. You need to, you talk a lot about the rule of completeness. I don't think you understand it. If you wanted all of her texts from every single communication that she ever had with Detective Maynard while she was on supervision, being supervised by said detective, then you should have asked for it all. Be like Bethany Frankel and mention it all. See, this is why I be saying poor questions get poor answers.
What's the foundation for the fact that they only texted for 3 days in February of 2024?
No, what I'm saying is, I think I can ask her, show her this and say, are these 3 days a representation? Is this how you always communicated with him? Not just these 3 days. Does this represent how you always communicated with him?
I'll give you a limited latitude there.
Okay. And then,
I want to make sure you heard the word limited when I said that.
and then I would.
Oh my God!
I need to look at exactly what she said.
Look at this judge. Now he's trying to be so nice. He's letting you know, ma'am, limited. Okay. Now his voice may have come across in italics and very soft, right? Maybe like Montserrat light and in italics. Okay. But make no mistake, the limited was an Anton bold font underlined.
Said about that before, but I may have
Doesn't
some other
even
questions
acknowledge
regarding how they communicated other than these texts.
Okay. Take a look at it. Let me know if you want to readdress this prior to 1 p.m.
All right. Let me just make sure that's everything.
Now, to be clear, my view is that because we're in the state's case in chief and we're recalling one of the state's witnesses, Mr. Bloodworth, if you want on direct to direct examine Ms. Lauber regarding the November 2023 events, if any, you're permitted to do so.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, I think that's it.
Okay. Let me pause there. Anything else on the record at this time, Mr. Bloodworth?
No, Your Honor.
Are they done?
Am I correct that the state's intention, as we sit here at the moment, is to call Ms. Lauber and Detective O'Driscoll today?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any intention, as you sit here at the moment, to call any other witnesses in the state's case in chief?
No, sir.
Okay.
Wait, what did
Understanding
he
we may or
say?
may not get Detective O'Driscoll done today, but certainly will sometime tomorrow. Does the defense, if it plans to put on witnesses, that's your prerogative to choose whether or not to do so, have a couple or more in the wings for tomorrow?
We do.
Okay, very good. Anything else on the record right now, Mr. Bloodworth?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Nestor?
We'll definitely want to need to take a break after they rest to do our Rule 17 motion.
Fine.
Oh my God.
And we also,
Can you not be wearing the couch cover from Motel 6 when you do this Rule 17 motion?
while we're talking about scheduling, we've got plenty of time here. We would like to build in a little bit of time to have a conversation with our client upon their arresting. There are some decisions the client will need to make. And we may need about 30 minutes to do that.
No problem. No problem. Okay. Anything else on the record at this time, Ms. Nestor?
No, sir.
All right, folks, we will be in recess. Why don't we plan council to be back at 12:45, just to make sure we handle any issues that may come up between now and 1 p.m. All right, we'll be in recess until 12:45. Thank you.
Thank you.
All rise.
Court's in recess, folks. Thank you.
All right, it's 11:11. I do not know what we're going to do until 2 o'clock. What should we do, guys? What can we do? Like, I suppose I could end the stream and start a new one. Do you guys want to do that? Because I can certainly do that, because we have what? It's 11 now. 12, 1, 2, 3 hours. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat, because I'll be more than happy to come back when the testimony begins. Debsy Daisy wants to know who picks out Kouri's outfits. I think Kouri does, actually. Like, I mean, she can request her clothes. She doesn't necessarily have to be given clothes. Her family likely, has, her belongings from the house because, Let me rewind it and see what time they said they were coming back. Hold on. Let me rewind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All rise.
Bart.
We'll be council to be back at 12:45, just to make sure we handle any issues that may come up between now and 1 p.m.
Yeah, the council comes back at 12:45. Their time, which is 1:45 Central and 2:45 Eastern, right? Am I covering all of the? Yeah, me too. Me too. Because, I always have to think. And then I was dealing, we're listening to Miss Lewis, which you guys from yesterday, she'd be giving me the dumbs. And so, now, yeah, it's too much. All right. So this is what we'll do. I'm going to end this live. All right. And I will be back here at 12:30 Central. No. Let me think. They have to be back at 12:45. So I'll be back here at 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern, and we'll be worried because I was reading Coffee and Skeletons. We'll be ready to go. Yes? Yes. All right. I will see you guys back here. Yes, look for a new live, RJ, because if I suppose I could leave it streaming, but what would I do? For 2 hours, a little more than 2 hours. So I'll just start a new stream. In fact, I'll go schedule it right now. End this one and I'll go schedule another one. Okay. And then I'll post it to the community tab. So just look over there in case you don't get notified. Sound like a plan? All right. That's what we'll do. I'll see you guys back in a couple hours. All right. Let me stop sharing this. All right. I'll see y'all in a couple hours. All right. Bye.